Hey everyone, welcome to this kind of fun thing we're doing for the next hour. I'm Mark Mann, this is John Kreidler from Leica. John is a product specialist and a teacher at the Leica Academy. And what I love having John around when I'm taking photographs is kind of more of a technical explanation of what I'm doing rather than just feeling it from the gut. So excited to have that. We're going to do some direct comparisons of some of the Leica gear, some that I own, some that I'd love to own, and some that I will never own.
Never say never.
Never say never. But that's what we're going to do today. We have the beautiful, wonderful good friend of mine, Coco, on set, and she's going to be sitting patiently as I mess up some pictures of her. And we've got Paul here, who works a lot with Capture One, and he's going to be our digital tech, and that's going to mean that, you know, I'll be able to not mess up so much and really be able to show you stuff that's going on. Without anything further, have we had lunch?
We did have lunch, and it was excellent. Thank you.
So we can start.
Let's start.
Okay.
Let's start with the Leica S3 and your favorite lens to go to, the 120.
Yeah, so folks, this is my absolute go-to setup. It's what I'm used to. It's what I use all the time. It's what I've made at least one of my portraits that got bought with. I think I had three. So
three.
Yeah, so
good. Without
further ado, let's grab that camera.
All right.
In the spirit of all honesty, we are going to keep our lights the same. We have a Profoto head with a softbox, a 3-foot octa with a little diffusion on it. I got one light coming out onto the background there. And we're not going to change our light, and we're not going to change our light settings because I want to try and keep this as constant as possible so that, you know, the comparisons are as honest as we can make them. So let's start. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, fabulous.
All right, so f2.5, 1/125 at 100 ISO. Let's see how it looks. Oh my God, you're gorgeous. That's beautiful. Oh, first thing you have to do, folks, is turn the strobe on. There we go, strobe.
Looked a little dim.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I think we're in pretty good shape with our first few images. How do you feel about the exposure, Paul?
Looks pretty good. Maybe just a touch higher.
Touch brighter?
Yeah, just a touch brighter.
All right, folks, because I don't want to change my aperture from 2.5 here, I'm just going to pump this up a little bit more power. Let's see what that does. Coco, how have you been? Where's your summer? Where have you been this summer?
Traveling.
Traveling?
Yeah.
So do you go, I am a traveling man? Do you know what that means? Are you a Freemason?
No, I'm a gypsy.
Beautiful. That's gorgeous. Beautiful. All right, so let me take like 2 or 3 more frames and try and get like a frame that I would be happy with. Chin up that little bit. Beautiful. There we go. Last one. Excellent. All right, so that's beginning to look like something that I would make as a photograph. So it's pretty much looks like mine. It's beautiful. Paul, have we done anything in the capture settings?
Nope, everything you're looking at is straight out of camera at the moment.
So John, people often say, hang on, let me see if we can both get in this camera. There we are. People talk about Leica color space.
Right.
I think this is a pretty good example of what people are talking about.
Right.
Because this is directly out the camera and it looks stunning.
So the big thing with Leica and Leica color is that
There's your camera, buddy. Or where do you want to be?
This one?
Okay.
This one. This one.
Anyone you want.
All right. Hey, so the big thing about Leica color is it's very natural. So it's not you know, too vivid or too flat. It just gives a real natural looking image. So if we take a look at these, I think that's what we'll first see is the skin tones.
Can we go to the screen, please,
look
Jacob?
very natural. And they're not too warm or not too magenta. And the one thing I like about Capture One is the Pro Standard ICC profile, which, Paul, is that what we're
Right now we're
importing?
generic.
Okay. So let's switch to that.
There we go.
And it's just
Subtle change, yeah.
subtle, but in the skin tone range, I think it's beneficial to be shooting, particularly in the Pro Standard ICC color space.
Hey, Paul, can you zoom into the eye to see if I actually got anything sharp?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Whoa,
Beautiful.
yeah. I mean, that's unusual for me in the spirit of all honesty because I never have anything sharp.
Yeah.
So I am delighted to see that. And we can also pretty much tell what Coco had for breakfast this morning just
Yes.
by, you know,
Yes.
how the veins in our eyes are looking there, which means that you had a healthy breakfast and a night's sleep. Yeah. So that's cool. Now, what I love about this lens is if we can just kind of slide on out a bit so we can see a little bit of the fall off, maybe
Right.
from
The hair to the eye.
the hair or the
There you go.
So what I love about this lens and what to me makes this particular Leica 120mm medium format lens, 95 on a 35, but anyway, I don't know. Is
95 on the medium format, 120 on
the
35.
third.
It's complicated, Mark. what can I? That's why we're here.
It's the fall off, John.
Right.
It's
Definitely.
it's the fall off, and I find, you know, I find that the fall off seems to.
It adds to the three-dimensionality of the image.
Exactly.
And it also forces the viewer to actually look at what you want them to, which would be the area of focus, but yet still the, you know, the out of focus portions of the image are the emotional bits that allow you, as an artist, creating a certain look like you definitely have.
Can we go back
a very
to full
specific
face?
look.
Absolutely.
Allows you to fully address your visual signature.
Now, just from looking at this, if I was standing here and my clients were going to come in,
Right.
here's what I would actually do to this image before I presented it. So I think we've got a tiny little bit too much red in the skin. Now this is amazing about Capture One and tethering. So a little bit too much red in the skin. So with a super quick adjustment here, are you guys being able to see this?
Dial down the red a little bit.
Yeah, just dial down the red a little bit. There you go, that's beautiful. And then what I would do is I would pop the highlights down a tiny, tiny little bit. There we go, just flatten out a bit, and I would open these shadows a tiny little bit. Now, Paul, is anything over or under on this, or is this the exposure we want it to
We're
be?
pretty much there. Yeah.
Excellent. And there's absolutely no sharpening on, oh, there's standard sharpening.
Just whatever came in through the camera.
Okay. So this is beautiful. Can I see that earring? Just close up on that earring.
Absolutely.
See this kind of way that you know it's an earring, but it's more like a, when you use a small f number, it's more like a rendering rather than a photograph. And this is what I absolutely adore about this. Now, you've been telling me for a long time that you like the 100mm lens.
The 100mm Summicron S lens is something spectacular. Let's mount it on the S3
Okay.
and see what you create
Oh
with
gosh.
it. What do you say?
All right, let's do that.
All right.
Okay, I got to turn the camera off. It's
Safety first,
important,
folks.
yeah. I'm going to hand that to you.
You got it.
Now, once again, folks, this is a lens that John has been saying that I should try, and I have actually never shot with it, I don't think. Immediately, I notice it's smaller, a little easier to handle,
Right.
maybe, and I can actually go down to f2 on it
Right.
instead of being 2.5 there.
Right.
But is that the same considering the focal length, John?
Yeah, so this being 100 would be like an 80 versus a 95.
Right.
The other thing that people like about the 100 is the focus throw. While this is about 420 degrees of focus throw with the 120, this is about half of that, maybe 120.
So you can get to focus
So
quicker.
right, exactly right.
Cool, well, let's try it.
All right, let's
So
give it
I'm
a
at
shot.
f2 here, so I may have to turn down my light. Sorry. I have to maybe do something with my light, but we'll see
Well,
in a
let's
sec.
see.
So I'm going to come in a little bit closer because than I was before because I want to try and get the same frame. It's stunning. I'm such a better photographer when I have somebody doing my light and my exposure. That's beautiful. And eyes are a little more to the light, Coco. There we go. Beautiful. Wow. Oh, wow. All right, so.
Was that credit card or check?
Ah, jeez. Oh, jeez. All right, but here's my question. I know from my gut that I kind of like this better, right, but I don't know why. So gut feeling is I kind of like how that feels better. Right. Is it because it's a little lighter?
No, I think part of it is it's a newer lens design. So right, this was introduced in 2014. Right. So some of the things that we've done in terms of the optical design that we learned even from other right, product lines has gone into that. And it is a Summicron. It is an f2 versus the 2.5 of the 120. And part of it is, you know, it's shorter. There's less elements that the light's going
it's
through.
Not a zoom lens. It's an 80. No. Oh, it's an 80. So it is a zoom, but it's less of a zoom.
It's a great portrait focal length. Right. Myself,
You're an
I
80.
love 75, yeah, 80 guy.
I always used 80s before.
Was that in the 80s or?
In the 80s. And
then the 90s, you went to 95?
Correct. And now I'm at 120. Or I feel I've earned the right to be at 120.
Definitely.
Hey, Paul, can I ask you a favor? Can you bring up one from each just on this screen? Sure. And I think in the spirit of all honesty, if we could match the lightness.
On the 120?
Yeah, just so they look
look closer.
Look a little bit closer. So a little, I mean, I suppose exposure adjustment. Oh, there you go. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so here's two things that I noticed right away, folks. I don't know which camera we're on. We're on this camera. Number one is that I do like the compression on the 120 more. Right. I feel like the 120 has given me a little bit more compression, definitely, which I really like. But in saying that, the 100 feels a little more three-dimensional. Yeah. And something just went down. Uh-oh. All right, we can jump onto the other camera. Or change the power cable over. Maybe that'll do it. Yeah. Sorry, folks, just a quick technical. Do you want to... Yeah, we'll swap over this guy. You want to just put that in? See?
No, it has to charge. It's draining fast.
I don't know what that is. That's really weird. Yeah. All right, folks, so we are going to come back to that in a minute. But in the meantime... the other thing which I know is really exciting right now, which Jacob, if you could, yeah, there we go. Which is really exciting. Sorry guys, just a little technical. Yeah, so when did this happen? And I'm going to tell you what happened.
This happened, let's see, 2017.
This adapter?
Yep.
All right,
and it was part of the plan all along to do this. Because with the mirrorless camera, you can adapt all kinds of lenses. Right. So why not adapt an S lens to an SL2?
So once again, something that I have never paid attention to, and to be honest, I wasn't really sure that it existed, but I'm very curious because this is the SL2 camera, which is a 35mm camera, and I use this a lot as well, not so much for my studio portraits, but for just about everything else. And I'm excited to see what an S lens looks like on this guy. Thank you. Tether cable.
Tether cable.
Tether cable.
So one nice thing about Capture One and Leica, now that Leica is fully supported by Capture One, there's nothing to download. There's no plugins. So as long as you have Capture One Pro 21, you're ready to tether your Leica cameras that tether. So primarily the S and the SL family of products. And if you had a M240 with a grip, you could also tether.
All right, so back to our other settings,
Okay.
which were manual.
Okay.
And we have F2 at this camera.
Right.
Shutter speed is at 125.
Okay.
And my ISO, it should be at 100. Correct?
Yep.
Menu. I'm much more used to. I got it. I'm much more used
You're
to
in
the.
video.
Okay. See, these are the things. Menu, photo.
There you go.
Okay.
ISO.
Oh, you can just do it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's very,
See,
you know,
that's how it works.
very intuitive.
So f2.2.
And let's go to manual.
Okay. I thought it was in manual.
It was in video and manual, but now we'll just, here we can go here. And then go here.
Cool.
And then boom. Okay,
Buttons.
and traditionally, we'd have to turn the remote on.
Yeah, if you turn the remote on, folks, you do get some strobe. If you don't turn the remote on, that doesn't really
Air
happen.
is still a pretty good insulator,
But
from
you
what I understand.
but you handed me this camera at 2,500th of a second, John. All right, we're
that
back
might
to
have worked.
125. F2. Wow. Wow. Wow, I'm close.
So the focusing is set to the back button.
It actually is. Wow. Let me come out a little bit because I want to see that background.
That should
Oh, it's
go in.
pretty.
Boom.
Wow. Coco, I just want you to forget how handsome I am for a moment and just try and react normal. I know how hard it is for you to just, you know, sit there, but just forget how handsome I am for a moment and think happy thoughts. Oh, it's beautiful. Wow. So that feels pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Should we do a comparison, super quick, with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're one computer down.
Yep.
So I'm going to turn this guy off.
Okay.
Put the other lens on.
You want to do
Oh no! I want to go back to the S.
S with 100?
Yeah, but
All right.
yeah.
Yep.
Let's switch out that tether cable, wherever it is.
Here. Oh, it's here.
All right. Oh, give me the lens, and
here.
I can do the lens, but
Okay, this looks like it's...
the tether
So?
cable is the.
Into the SL2.
Yeah, but no, for the
Okay.
the S.
The other one.
Okay. That's that.
I'm changing
This
my
one?
lens.
Should be this guy.
All right, let's see.
Let's just check that camera's up.
Yep.
We up?
No. There you go.
Is it the wrong one?
Let's try it.
Aha!
We'll try that one.
Hey John, can you pass me? Oh, actually, I can get it here.
Oh, you need this?
the trigger.
There we go.
I got the trigger.
All right.
S3's live.
Okay. All right. So yeah, obviously the lens is a little longer on the 35. Is that right, John? Am I?
So that, yeah, it's 100 millimeter
Wow.
on the 35, and on the S3, it's 80.
It feels very similar though, you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't, it feels like just like a little back and front
Right.
is making all the difference. It doesn't feel like I have to really make big moves
Right.
to kind of get to where it was.
Yep,
So
yep.
that's interesting. See, but here's the thing. Here's the thing though. Wow, you look great. Man, you look good. So what have you been doing that you look so good?
Sleeping.
Ah, is that a new thing for you?
Oh yeah.
Are you going out much? No? That's beautiful. Okay, let's see if we can bring up a comparison. I still can't get away from I love both of these cameras. I
Right.
own the SL2 and I own the S, and I love them both dearly.
Right.
But there's something for me when I'm doing a portrait to have the glass. It's because I'm old. But there's something about the glass.
Right.
But then the convenience of the SL2S and the size and the weight,
Right.
like, makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to shoot them both side by side like
Yep,
that.
definitely. So the fall off is going to be different with the S because it's
Jakey, can
medium
we
format.
go to, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we look at the earring.
Right. So when we look at the fall off or the three-dimensionality of the image, the S, the medium format, is going to give us that, even with the exact same lens, because of the sensor size. So, you know, it's interesting as artists explore their visual signature and how they see the world or how they want to communicate.
Visual signature?
Yes, you've got one.
I don't
you
have
definitely
a
have
visual
one.
signature.
Yes,
I have a please come out.
definitely.
Please be
yeah.
right.
Yeah. But anyway.
I prefer this. What's this? I can't even
That's
know
the
which one.
SL2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. With the 100. And and because it's that same lens, you're going to see similar contrast characteristics to the lens. When we put on the next lens, when we're ready, the 75 Noctilux M, we're going to see more contrast and more, because it's an f1.25 shooting wide open, the rendering is going to be more emotional and more three-dimensional.
Paul, can I ask you a question? I know we made some slight adjustments, but is the color space out the SL2 and the S close?
Yeah, so these right now they're both unadjusted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can tell they're.
See, that's something else that I've appreciated,
Right.
that if I'm doing a job and I'm shooting the SL2 and the S, when I import everything into my system, or when Capture sees it, or when I have to retouch out, I don't have to spend a lot of time matching the two cameras.
And that's by design.
I would hope so. It's good design.
Yeah.
So that's kind of really important for me as somebody who wants to work with two different cameras sometimes for
definitely.
the same job. I mean, you know, and being able to take what Capture One does, export 1,000 JPEGs super quick with its algorithm, and know that I don't have to start doing color corrections on top of my color corrections because where I'm starting from is the same. So yeah, it's beautiful. You know, what's interesting for me, John, is that there's definitely minutia. There's definitely the minutia that we know comes from medium format sensor versus 35mm sensor.
Right.
Now, looking at this right now, I see differences, but they're subtle. I mean, they're important. And somebody who cares or really cares about that stuff would be able to make a decision. So I think a lot of it from what I've just done is coming down to how does the camera feel in your hand? What do you like holding better? How do you like working
and
better?
It's all part of that shooting experience.
Right.
And that's for us as a manufacturer, but also photographers that use our products. That's huge. You know, that's why some people enjoy shooting an M, because they want that rangefinder experience and how that makes them feel. When you're shooting the S, you know how it makes you feel.
Right.
Which is different than.
It makes me feel poor.
What?
But
those images are so rich. But the images are so rich.
I bought the camera, so I can't afford lunch that day.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, this is really interesting because I've always, you know, there was such a funny thing out on YouTube the other day. You should look it up. It's something about stuff that Leica camera owners say.
Right.
And I've said all the things as well, and that's why it was exceptionally funny to me. But what I'm really seeing here, and I hope I kind of got it right, is that you guys are putting a huge amount of effort to make things working between cross camera platforms with less pain. still getting the Leica look, still
Right.
getting the Leica feel.
Leica look and consistent color and imaging results is.
And Mark, can you just say which cameras, which image?
Paul,
S3's on the left, and then the SL2's on the right.
and in this particular shot, I much prefer the SL2, but I think I like the picture better. And that's the other thing. Hey John, can we just do one more thing while we've got this kind of rig set up? Can we do it again, but let me pull back out further because I want to see the bokeh on the backdrop, which I'm not really seeing right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with
the S.
The S with the 100mm.
Okay.
Hi Coco.
Hi.
Where have you been?
Again.
Where have you been? What's kind of weird about this for me is that Coco is a really excellent photographer in her own right, and as much as I love taking her photograph, it's kind of a little intimidating because she kind of knows what I'm doing, right? There we go. So I'm just gonna, Coco, I'm just coming down to about here, so I just want you, yeah, there we go. That's beautiful. Wow, excellent, excellent. So guys, I'm only really doing this because I kind of want to see what the background looks like on both of these lenses, because I sometimes forget I'm the only guy that likes to shoot as tight as I do. But this is great. And Coco, I'm going to ask you not to move too much after I finish here so I can really get a side-by-side comparison. Beautiful. Oh, that's gorgeous. Wow. Wow. But that's my S, which I love.
Right.
All right, let's quickly switch this over to the SL2. Okay, same settings, yeah.
Yep.
All right, I've left my chair exactly where it is because I want to kind of show the total difference here. There we go. Okay. Oh, excellent. Excellent.
One sec, Mark.
Oh, 1 second, folks. Just tethering.
Try that one more time.
Coco, what do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear.
A gummy bear.
There we go, that's beautiful. So that's a real direct comparison, folks, as much as I can compare them. And I don't know which camera I'm on here. Am I over here? I didn't compare, I didn't move back and forward. I wanted you to see the different crops from the same position. So, Paul, if you could just bring up one of each there. Wow. Color space has shifted a little bit. I wonder why that is.
White balance is a little bit different.
Oh, the white balance is different. Yeah, distance for the white balance. So, I'm not seeing a difference that makes me go, I'm not going to use an SL2.
Right.
I mean, I'm seeing like the SL2 is probably the easiest way to do this.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I think once again it comes down to part of it. How does it feel in your hand if you like the glass?
Right.
But genuinely, are they the same pixel size, John?
So SL2 is 47.
Right.
S3 is 64.
Okay,
megapixel. So the pixel pitch is very similar, if not the same. Mm-hmm. So that comes into play when we talk about gradient, right? As it transitions, pixels transition from red, green, or blue. So they're both going to be very similar in that regard.
Jacob, can you bring us up as well?
Yeah, it's just covering the picture.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
So to me, the SL2 with the 100, right, we're getting, the background is more what I would call the creamy sharpness.
Would you think? Do you think I should try and match the crop for a fair comparison? Anybody out there?
Yeah, let's give it a try.
All right. Let me just do that once more, folks.
We're going to go
No, I'm
to the...
staying where I am. We'll just match it with this.
Okay.
Stay on SL2, right?
So you're going to go back further.
Yeah.
See, if we had built in image overlay... Here, wait a minute, Mark. Before you try it, with Capture One,
Oh yeah.
you
show
can do
us.
image overlay. So let's take we'll take an image, and then you'll be able to have much easier time trying to match perspective.
I love technology.
It's just a few clicks of the mouse.
And you know, also, John,
Yes.
with the S adapter and this lens, it actually feels that the weight feels a little more like if I'm just holding an S, which I really like. Hi. If anyone's got any questions, you know, we're doing a Q&A at 3:15. The link is actually, you got to just sign up for the link or register, and that's in the description. So if you want to ask any questions of John or I or Coco, probably Coco has the best answers, or Paul here with Capture One, then sign up for that link and you can ask us some questions. All right, so we're going to see image overlay. Jakey, can you bring it up?
Yep, I'm just creating the JPEG for the overlay.
Right, so important tip, the image overlay only works for JPEG, not DNG, and we're shooting DNG only. So with the speed and power of Capture One.
Oh, wow.
So you can kind of see it's ghosting.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
So I should be trying to match this right now, right? Yeah, it's very cool. So we're basically going...
You want me to do that again?
No, I want you to do that whole thing that you did. That whole ghost thing that you did. That's great. That's beautiful, Coco.
So maybe move in and scooch in a little bit.
Oh yeah, tell me where you want me to be. How about there? God, it's so fast.
That looks quick. Yeah, the other thing with the adapter, Mark, is obviously it's autofocus, but it still maintains the sealing, the weather sealing, because the S lenses are weather sealed, the adapter is, so if you...
Oh, you can still
shoot
take this
weather
outside in the rain.
Just like you would with the S3 or SL2 with
Wow.
native lenses.
The other
Do that
thing
as
which
well.
always amazes me is the speed of which this file at 48 megapixels, 47 megapixels, just on a super quick.
Yeah. Well, USB-C
I mean, the speed,
technology.
the speed that they come in is amazing because
Yeah.
I'm not like 30 frames behind
Yeah.
when I'm shooting, and I've
And
got
we've all
clients
experienced
on.
that.
We have, and then it drops.
Yeah.
But not with Capture. Capture has been incredibly stable.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I messed that up, but could you put the two together?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know our mutual friend Nico
Yeah.
really worked endless hours around the clock,
Yeah, Nico is
making
the.
it as stable as possible.
What's Nico's job? I think Nico in Germany is the. What? He has a title. Genius.
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 Yeah, definitely.
There we go. Okay, that's super close. So the bokeh. I think that this guy is the S, right?
This is the...
That's the SL2.
The
And
SL2,
then this is the S.
and this is the S. Huh. I mean, without like asking, you know, Paul to go into 1400%,
Yeah,
or
you're not-
making a billboard, or, you know,
Yeah.
it's super close.
And that's why I like using S lenses, you know, on the SL2
Right.
for portraits in particular, because it gives you almost an S
An
file.
S fill,
Almost. You know, it definitely has that feel.
So-
it has to definitely do with the contrast of the lens and the design of the lens,
Yeah.
which is different than native SL lenses or M lenses.
Hey John, how does the autofocus
I can show you guys.
It works really well. I mean, Mark was utilizing back button autofocus, and it's not going to be as quick as, say, a native SL lens, because those are stepper motors, or with the aposummicrons, 2 stepper motors, where it would actually focus quicker. But remember, this is a medium format lens. The size and weight of it is significantly different than an aposummicron or zoom.
I had no issue with the autofocus there, to be honest. It felt more like autofocusing with the S camera. Seemed about the same speed as the S, and a tiny little bit slower than the SL, or slower than the SL, but just like an S. I feel that was super weird having that lens on that camera, because it feels different and physically feels different, weight-wise feels different. Really great. Cool. Now the other lens,
we're going to get a little knocked to crazy.
We're going to get knocked to crazy.
Okay. Let's do it.
If you don't own this lens, what's great to say is my other car's a Noctilux. I think that's kind of pretty funny. So the Noctilux is kind of a dream aspirational lens for a lot of people. It's a 75 that we're going to try today, right?
Yep.
The 50 is kind of the one that everybody
SL2.
raves about, but the 75 is, I think, the portrait one, and it's 0.95, and it's
1.25.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, it's 1.25.
The 50 is the 0.95.
I've been extremely careful in my life so far never to really use one, because I know if I use this from other photos I've seen, I'm going to desperately want it, and I've tried to avoid that. But today is probably the day that is going to change all this. So this is the Noctilux.
All right, so we're at 125 at 100. What did we want to go to 2?
No, I would do its best and maybe knock that down to 50 for that other stop, and we should get just about in the same place.
Okay. All right, watch out for the unobtainium coating.
The what coating?
The unobtainium, because as soon as you touch, it's too late.
Oh no.
Will that be credit card? Or
unattainable.
Unobtainium, it's an avatar thing, I think.
Well, I'm kind of scared of this.
Ask your kids about it.
I'm kind of scared of this. Wow. Sit forward a little bit for me. Well, so the lens feels good. Let me see focus. There we go. I can come.
So the close focus on that lens is 2.7 feet.
So I feel I can get as close as I need to be. Wow. I doubt that I have anything sharp, but I am trying my best.
It's Mark Mann sharp.
Close.
It's close?
Yeah.
Close but no cigar? Any cigars involved?
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Oh, you got to see this. You got to see this. The insanity. The insanity.
That's pretty darn sharp, Mark.
Yeah.
Wow. Now what are we looking at there? 100%? 200%?
Yeah, this is 100.
Wow.
All the way zoomed in.
So let's come out, because what I'm interested in, oh geez, look at the hair.
Yeah.
So
You really get that feel of medium format. Contrast is different. Because of the design of the lens, again, it's a more modern design than the 100 or the 120 lenses that we've looked at. So.
But what's amazing for me to look at this picture, which looks so soft and so lush, and then there is that crazy sharpness at that tiny little point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really pretty. And then, like, can we find an area of the image that goes from sharp to soft?
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Right here.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. So basically with this lens, you have one hair sharp, and everything else
wide open. Yeah. 125.
Yeah. Wow.
At minimum focus distance, right? So as you would be further away from the subject, that's going to change.
Yeah. Obviously.
Right.
Yeah. How's the earring look? Wow.
Yeah.
Just the rendering is
really nice.
It's beautiful. I think for everybody, we should do one a little further out, because I think that's how more people shoot. It's really pretty.
Yeah, I mean, the Leica look a lot of times is, it's always shooting wide open. But a lot of Leica photographers like to shoot at minimum focus distance when they can.
Yeah, because that's the whole package, right?
Right.
Wow. Chin up that little bit. Think lunch. Lunch. Gypsy. Wagons. Rolling. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow, the separation.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's so pretty. Once again, I'm not technically enough to know exactly why I love this, but I absolutely love it. I mean, a lot of it is cocoa.
Yeah, that goes without saying. But you know, it's a difference. To me, what I see is the contrast.
Yeah,
It's
zoom in.
different.
I'm curious if I got any sharpness. Oh, close. Nah. None of them sharp. Have I got shake? Oh, that's sharpish. Yeah.
We could go up to 250.
Yeah, you could, yeah, going down to 250.
All right, let me see if it's just my camera shake, because it would be nice to be
Because the
sure.
flash sync is up to 250.
On this, but not on the S, right?
125.
125 on the S.
And I'd creep in a little bit.
Creep.
Stop.
I've creeped. I've crept. All right, so I've got a little green light in the center of her eyes here.
Okay,
I
that
think-
should be in focus.
That should be in focus. Right
Now
there.
here, let me show you something, Mark.
Oh no.
Because
Okay.
what may be happening, right? So what you can do is see this box.
Yeah.
You can move that to where you want to focus.
Oh, you can.
And then,
Uh-huh.
if you punch in,
Yeah. Is there any way we can show? Manny, can we show these guys this? Because it's very cool. Yeah. See what I'm saying?
yeah, so,
All right. So,
so here we have the magnification here
let's
set
get
to here. So what I can do is I can move wherever I want to focus, let's say. And someone has the joystick lock on. So we'll change it, but I could zoom in and then utilize focus peaking.
Oh wow.
And when you see it, we see our hair green.
So I've actually 20% more chance of getting. Wow, John, look at that.
Much sharper.
And that was left-handed, so
All right.
there you go.
So the first button I press is the
just
one
did.
on the front, John?
Yeah, no, so now what you can do, you
Yeah.
should be able to, so we move the box to wherever we want
Right.
with the joystick.
Okay.
And then, see, we go here and then push in on it.
Oh, okay.
And now,
Yeah, gotcha.
so, and you'd see all that in the EVF.
Right. Wow. I really can see it. So compose the picture.
Right. And that's a great thing about using M lenses,
Oh, wow.
is you can do that. You can
I can
punch
actually.
in 100%, or you could back it off to 50% and set it.
Wow. I think I might get one sharp here.
Well, these all look great. We'll dive in.
Let's have a look
But
close.
they look, yeah,
Ah, wow.
Yeah, pretty
yeah.
good.
So that makes a big difference to my ability to get anything sharp, which is kind of important. Wow, look at that
But
look.
see at that
Look at that look,
distance.
Coco. Look at that
Yeah.
look. I've seen that face before.
Yeah,
This
oh
is the
yeah.
best picture I've taken today. The look.
That's awesome.
I'll mark that for you, Mark.
Thank you. So that makes a big difference. Just be able to take that M lens, use all the technology,
Right.
and to get something sharp.
Right, and you know, a lot of Leica photographers who are shooting an M camera, obviously they have M lenses, and to be able to put them on an SL2 or an SL2S is really nice, because now you're not limited to focusing just in what's in the center and recomposing. Now you have the high resolution EVF.
But a lot of
Punch in.
these guys would say we're cheating.
Cheating.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was a game,
You know
man.
the M guys. that just hold the camera. They don't even have to look at it. And they've got any lens on and they can just do that without looking at it and knowing exactly where it's sharp. That's where I'd like to be with an M lens. I mean, I'm not. But
right.
So, so if that's on an M, say a film M from back in the day, like an M3, M4,
right,
which we have a picture of right there.
Right. M6.
What chance have you got of getting that in focus at 1.25?
Well, it comes down to skill,
right,
practice, and a bit of luck.
Right.
But I mean, I've worked with a fair number of photographers that shoot the 50 Noctilux,
right,
and they know that lens like they know, you know, their hand, the back of their hand. I mean, it's just like, it's a feeling. And the one interesting thing about particularly the Noctilux lenses is the fact that, you know, we kind of poked fun where yours weren't exactly in focus.
right,
But a lot of photographers that shoot like a 50 f1 or the 1.2 classic or reissue, it's knowing how to just take it just out of focus to increase that emotional impact of the image.
Can I mention a photographer?
I wish you would.
So one of my favorite photographers, Mark DiPaolo,
There you
a
go.
photographer and filmmaker,
Yeah, definitely.
is absolutely mastered that.
If there was anything beyond master, above master,
yeah, double
it would
master,
be Mark.
yeah. So yeah, so I hear
he
what you're
is
saying.
one with that lens. It is part of him, and when you see him work and shoot, it's
He's not
it is
looking.
amazing.
He's not looking through the camera too much, is he?
he's
kinda-
looking through the.
I mean, he'd like to look through the camera, but he's so blind that he's. No, I'm kidding.
he's no, he's looking through the viewfinder,
Right.
but he knows where that distance, and you know, you work with the lens long enough, you really know, okay, from here to here I'm
Yeah.
13 and a half
Yeah,
feet,
yeah.
and you know where that is on that lens, and that's truly amazing.
Brilliant. So, with that lens, I'm not going to spend too long on it because I
Okay.
don't have my credit card with me.
Okay.
But I think the fact that you showed me, I mean, if I had, obviously would have learned that if I owned
Right.
the lens, but the ability for me to guarantee focus is very important.
Yeah.
Not that I actually ever get anything in focus, but knowing that I could have done, I think is very, very
Yep.
important to me.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Now, the next, how are we doing on time?
2:49.
Oh, we've only got like 10, 11 minutes. Okay, the next camera that Leica have just released recently, I think is very interesting. It's a Leica SL2S, and it's a hybrid camera for stills and for video. We're not really going to touch, John, you want to talk about the video aspects really quickly?
Sure.
We're not really focusing on that today, but we're going to shoot it so we can see what
Right.
the stills look like.
So I believe that's actually this camera here.
Oh, we're
is the
shooting with it.
SL2S.
Yeah.
So the concept of the SL2S is one camera and really the best of two worlds. And we're looking at adding more and more video functionality to the camera. So we recently had a firmware update that added many video features that previous to that you needed to use a separate recorder like an Atomos. Things like color bar generation or waveform or built-in recording up to Cine 4K at 60 frames, all being recorded internally as well as segmented video. And we have a really cool follow focus feature where it's an automated follow focus, so you could set parameters and time out focus. So again, it's the idea that you know, it's great if you can build out a rig and you have the time and space to do that, but if you just wanted...
Let's come over and show them the rig.
If,
So
if you see what Manny's up to here.
This is Manny, folks.
He's a weightlifter,
Can we
part-time.
switch? So this is Manny. He's our camera guy today, and this is a rig that I actually just shot a video on last week, which is going to come out soon. How are you finding it? Genuinely, I know that this is a different camera for you.
It is. This is the the first time I've actually ever had to use it.
Right.
Autofocus actually works.
Wow. So you're quite enjoying the experience.
Yeah. Weight balance. Good battery life, and it looks good.
Yeah, it looks great. Cool. Listen, there's loads of information of this camera that's that camera that's actually out there if you want to check out the specs. But let's show you what it does as a stills camera compared, I think, to the SL2, right?
We don't have one to shoot.
Oh, we don't have one to shoot.
Because we're using it for the video.
Okay. John, quick explanation of what that does. We would have one to shoot, but we're using it to shoot video.
Well, I think the interesting thing is that it's a 24 megapixel sensor, but it's a backside illuminated sensor. So it's the first time that we've done that, and
What does backside illuminated sensor mean, please?
That's a great question. A backside illuminated sensor is one where the electronics that power each pixel is not next to the pixel well like it would be on a traditional sensor, CMOS sensor, but it's actually underneath the pixel well.
Oh, okay.
So that allows you to do one of two things: either add more pixels because now you have more surface on the sensor wafer, or make each pixel well a little bigger.
More advantage for video than for stills, right?
Well, the 24 megapixel sensor in general is more video friendly than the 47 megapixel sensor of the SL2. The big thing for me for backside illuminated sensors is that they do better at higher ISO with lower noise, a stop or two, and I find the dynamic range to be better. By about the same, a stop or two. So again, looking on the computer using the same lenses that we're using here, I don't know that you're really going to see a difference between 24, 47, and 64 unless you dive deep. 300%.
Yeah, and you know I'm always, I don't need more megapixels, I don't need more, I mean when I get them I'm fine and happy with them, but it's not why I would switch camera to have more megapixels.
And I think we saw that as a manufacturer when we came out with the SL2, that there were a lot of owners that had SLs that were 24 megapixel, and they said they liked it, they liked the results, and they said, I don't know that I really need
more megapixels.
47, but when the SL2S came out, that same resolution, but a real improvement in imaging technology.
The camera just felt better altogether.
Yeah, definitely.
There's one more thing I would like to do today,
okay, sure.
And it's another thing which I'm genuinely quite scared of doing because I don't own either of these things. But I've read and heard and so much about the Leica M monochrome, which is pretty new. Yeah. And I'd love to try and make a portrait on it with the 75 Noctilux. Okay. This doesn't tether, folks, so we're just going to ask Paul to put it into Capture One for us. I shoot a lot in black and white. You want me over there? I shoot a lot. No, I shoot a lot of black and white.
So I'll give you the card.
I've never owned a camera that only shoots black and white, and I think it kind of is a big statement or anything. I mean, a lot of people out there think that just shooting with the SL2S or the M or a regular digital color camera and then doing a conversion is the way to go. I'm not arguing with that because I've never done this.
160 is the lowest.
Okay, so we can adjust our light a little bit.
Okay, so we want to go down like 2 stops.
Oh, we can't go down 2 stops.
You want to just go to...
Oh, what's that at?
4.5.
All right, take it down to the minimum. And then maybe I will shoot it like, instead of 125, like F2?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
All right, so I'm going to do this quickly, folks, and then I'm going to give the card over to Paul.
All right, so this is a rangefinder. All right, so I need you to channel your inner Mark DiPaolo as your...
Hello. Oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing here. All right. I see.
Well, you do want to, let's see where we are exposure-wise.
I see some little boxes lined up.
That's, yeah.
Is there a play button? Do you want to see this, Manny? Is it thinking?
It's writing.
What's it writing?
It's a novel, maybe a short novel.
All right.
Wow, that's weird. All right, hit the, let's see if we hit.
It's a mystery photo. Hang on, folks.
Let's try something.
Hang on, folks. We'll get that sorted in a minute. Coco,
Card in there.
tell us a bit about
A
what
card.
you... Does it need a
I thought
card?
it was film. What? Oh.
Coco, what do you like to photograph?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, people. Well, I don't want to say it because I was going to share it with you after, but it's like kind of dark.
Okay, I'm excited. What's happening there, John?
I think there's a problem with the memory card.
This is what happens on live TV, folks.
Certainly not photographers.
Not photographers. No, I mean I don't blame you.
Lately,
Oh, there we go.
All right, so we look a little
hot.
blasty.
Why don't you just let's just pull
You want me
this
to pull
light.
that back?
Yeah, pull that light back a little bit. I can also go to 2.8, but then that kind of kills the
No,
lens, right?
that'll kill the moment.
Okay.
We need to go up a little bit.
And John, what's the minimum focus on this?
2.7 feet.
Right. Oh wow, it feels really good. And what also feels really good is not having any idea if you're in focus or not.
Isn't that freeing as an artist?
Yeah, it's scary. Oh, look at that. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got to look at this on the big screen.
All right,
now.
so we got this here, guys. I'm going to give it over to Paul super quick to bring it up in Capture One.
Just let it finish with lights off, right?
Yeah. Should we go back to our positions, John?
Make sure it's finished right.
I did learn a lot, John, today.
I learned a lot too, Mark.
It's not often you get to see actual side-by-side comparisons to make a decision. Number one, because, you know, not that many people own that equipment enough to be able to do that, especially all the lenses. And I think my takeaways, and they're genuinely my takeaways, comes down to a lot of my ethos in photography anyway, that what feels right and feels good from your gut is the most important factor. You're out there making photographs, that's the most important factor. And although there's a lot out there on minutiae of the 120 versus the 95 versus the 80 versus the medium format,
Right.
these things are all super, super, super important potentially to you, but the bottom line is how it feels.
I think it's very important that that user interface doesn't stop your process.
Right.
And that's really what Leica is about. Is we want to make cameras and design cameras that are an extension of the photographer and don't necessarily get in the way through a list of menus or things like that. They just get in your way.
That's another thing to say about if you guys haven't tried Leica digital cameras. The menus are very simple. They're simple enough that I kind of know what I'm doing with them without actually having to hand it off to somebody to set my camera and hand it back.
Right.
The other thing which has made a huge, huge difference for me as a professional photographer who shoots Leica is that Capture One has turned everything on its head for me, because now I can genuinely, at a real pace, show people what I'm shooting beautifully and quickly on set.
Yeah.
And that has made a big difference. So Leica shooters out there, if you haven't tethered or you haven't tried tethering with your SL2 or SL2S,
Right.
then we have something great today. We actually are going to give away a capture license. And we're going to give it away by, oh, we're actually giving away 2 capture licenses.
What?
And how do we do that, Jacob? Register for the Q&A, and that is how you win 1 or 2. That's how you win either of these licenses. So it'll be a great opportunity for you guys to play around with tethering and without, like, you know, seeing if you like it. I highly recommend it. It's a great way to shoot. Sorry? Look at those images. Oh, we have time. All right, we're going to pop over to that Leica M photo that I just took with the Noctilux. Wow, that is very, very pretty. Nothing is even remotely sharp, but Mark DePaulo would be proud of me.
I think it was André Cartier-Bresson that said the focus was a bourgeois concept.
Focus is a bourgeois concept. Also, wow. And that's raw out of the camera, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Was that the right exposure?
Yeah, that's good. I think this
Wow.
one's actually
Yeah.
touch up.
I very much like the
Yeah.
rendering on the...
Yeah, and you know what's different? You know, a lot of people say, well, take your S3 file, convert it to black and white, or take your SL2 file and convert it to black and white. What's the difference? What's the big deal about monochrome?
Right.
The big deal is there's no bare filter, so there's no color interpolation calculations that are going on. So the images
Are purer.
are more pure, plus they're sharper.
Right.
And you get more ISO range because there's no bare filter to shoot through.
So I'm hearing all the technical here, and I
Right.
know it's real, and I
Right.
know people care.
Right.
But for me, I would have this camera because my mindset would be different going out
Exactly.
as if I only had black and white film.
Yeah.
And I think, therefore, that would make me take better black and white photos
Right.
instead of thinking, oh, it's fine, I could use it in
Right.
color. Or it's just taking out another variable. I'm shooting black and white
Yeah.
today.
And that's the whole thing about the M camera and M shooters and kind of the things that they say. But it's really true that you're looking through a viewfinder. You're not looking through a lens. So you're seeing the world unfiltered. And just like you, when I'm shooting an M camera, as I'm looking around, I'm looking and seeing differently. And I'm taking different kinds of photographs with an M
Yeah.
than I would an S or an
Yeah.
SL2, which is kind of cool. So for a lot of professional photographers, the M is their, let's call it a Zen camera. It's the me camera. I'm going to go out and shoot for me today.
Come on.
So,
Listen,
Right?
I've been told we got to wrap it up.
okay, let's do it.
Super big thank you to John here. Thank you very much to Paul for digiteching. Major thank you to Coco, who's gorgeous and made my photographs look good. Thank you to Manny for being second cam. Thank you to Grace for assisting us and helping us today. And thank you to our producer and showrunner, Jacob, over there. I don't know which camera I'm on. If you want to ask us some questions, sign up for the Q&A. It's in the link, and John and I will be here to answer any questions. Thank you so much for watching. That was fun, and hopefully we'll do more. See you soon.
Thanks, everybody.